With the Las Vegas shooting reigniting the national debate on guns and NFL protests widening the divide over free speech, the First and Second Amendments have been at the center of heated public debate lately. But one former elected official is offering an alternative to our constitutional quibbles, change the whole thing with a few new amendments. In his book, Smashing the D.C. Monopoly, former Republican Oklahoma Senator Tom Coburn makes his case for a constitutional convention to remake the Constitution in the image of his conservative ideals. More specifically, shrinking the federal government and giving more power to the states. Now, if you think that sounds far-fetched, think again. Because according to my next guests, they just might pull it off. Former Oklahoma Senator Tom Coburn joins me now. Also with me is Teresa Tomlinson, the mayor of Columbus, Georgia, and author of a daily opinion piece in response to his plan. So I'm going to start with you, Senator Coburn. Thank you very much for joining us. Describe to us briefly, if you will, what it is you would like to see changed in the Constitution.
Well, first of all, I want to emphatically disagree with your characterization of what we're trying to do. We're trying to restore the Constitution. We're trying to restore the enumerated powers. We're trying to restore the balance of power among the three branches, which the Congress has given away. And now we have a fourth branch, the bureaucracy, that tells Americans what they'll do and how they'll do it. So your characterization of a whole new Constitution is
no,
totally
I didn't say it was a whole new
erroneous.
Constitution. You want amendments. You want to amend the Constitution.
No, we want to follow Article 5 of the Constitution, which says you can have an amendments convention as long as you specifically state what areas you want to talk about when you have that. So we have three areas. One, we think there ought to be fiscal responsibility on the federal government's part. The average millennial now is on the hook for $1.5 million over the next 50 years. We believe there ought to be term limits on our elected officials. The advantage of incumbency is unbelievable to defeat somebody that's there. And finally, we think the scope and jurisdiction of the federal government ought to be what was intended to be by our founders, which is a limited role, but very specific and very powerful. And then what is not specifically spelled out for the federal government, left to the states, as it should be.
Mayor Tomlinson, your response.
Yes. Well, first of all, if you're simply trying to restore it, there's no need to amend it. You just have to enforce it at that point. A couple of things. The balanced budget amendment is sort of a Trojan horse. That's what they lead with. Most people are familiar with it. But really what they're trying to do is, we've heard about the deep state and the bureaucracy. They don't care particularly for the 200,000 armed federal law enforcement bureaucrats that we have in this country, specifically the ATF. You know, there's some extremist elements of the conservative movement that like their independent militias. They don't like those guys and the ATF having a hawk eye on them. They also don't care too terribly much for the federal marshals. The federal marshals have historically been used to implement civil rights opinions and other opinions in the state. Conservatives see that as an affront to what they perceive to be absolute state sovereignty. So what they want to do is defund that federal bureaucracy, particularly the armed bureaucracy, and keep that in the states. I have to tell you, there's some troubling insurrectionist, secessionist type things not far behind the veil here on that. Term limits, to go to your previous segment, is really just a supplement to gerrymandering and voter suppression. We know they're engineering to have a permanent majority, but if they can keep that engineered political minority turning over every 6 years, then you'll never have a Tip O'Neill, a John Lewis, or a Nancy Pelosi to garner the national stage.
And you know, the other thing that Mayor Tomlinson points out in her rebuttal to this idea that you have, Senator Coburn, is that one of the things that you've seen Republicans also turn away from is the idea that the federal government should do things like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, the social safety net, that Republicans want to see that broken up and returned to the states. What about people who fear that that kind of a situation could leave, for instance, states in the Deep South that don't care for their poor at all, that don't care for the least of these, and that throw them essentially to the wolves?
Well, first of all, the characterization we just heard doesn't have anything to do with the U.S. federal marshals or anything else. It has to do with liberty. You know, for the last 30 years, the federal government's told the American people what to do rather than the American people, whether it's Republicans or Democrats.
But what to do on what specific things?
Let me finish my point, please.
Well, you have to be specific about what to do on what.
Well, she just said we were against the DEA, against ATF, Again, that's just a bunch of garbage. There's nothing in this. The reason you haven't even read my rebuttal to her comments and given it a fair shake about
that's why
what
you're
we
here.
are trying
we
to
have
do.
you can actually
I understand,
give your rebuttal
but
in person.
you're quoting. Well, now wait a minute. You're allowing her to speak and allow her comments, and not my comments. You are allowing me to speak. I'm thankful for that. But what I just heard has nothing to do with the truth and the 2 million people that are behind this effort. The effort is to restore a balance. You have to admit, look at the Congress, whether it was Democrats or Republicans in control, what they accomplish. Did anybody fix Social Security for the future? No. Did
Let me
anybody
ask you some specific
let me finish my point.
Well, we don't have an unlimited amount of
Medicare?
time, so I want to just get to some specifics.
Well, the point is, this is the key point.
I want to get to some specifics.
We have an irresponsible Congress on both parties because they've expanded their voice, and more of the decisions ought to be made at home.
Right,
I'm not for gerrymandering.
Let's go for some specifics. Do you believe in Medicaid? Existing?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's go back.
Well, what they're really trying to do here is make states supreme. This is really about
That's
returning us to a confederation as opposed to
one at a
a
time.
federation.
One at a time.
We have a federation where there's a balance of power between the federal and state government. What they would like to see, and this is all spelled out in their documents, and if you watch their YouTube videos and so forth, they want to make the states supreme so that states could actually do things like reject federal laws that they don't care about. So voting rights laws, for instance. You can reject those laws. Also, they want to subordinate the federal judiciary.
The reason we're hearing this is the city of Columbus and her administration gets $1 billion a year.
So we can actually have United States Supreme Court cases overturned by majority votes of 2/3 of the states in this nation. So it really is about returning us to a point which was rejected in 1787, that states will be supreme to the federal government.
And very lastly, would you agree, Senator Coburn, former Senator Coburn, that going away from the Articles of the Confederation and having a strong federal government allowed things like civil rights legislation to go through, allowed schools to be integrated. So if we returned all the power to the states, what happens to that federal enforcement of things like civil rights?
First of all, the assumption of your question is erroneous. We're not talking about returning all the power to the state. The mayor, God bless her, doesn't want all the power returned to her. She's dependent on $1 billion a year from the federal government for her own city. And you can go to openthebooks.com and see it.
Our budget is only $270 million, so I haven't seen this billion, but I'm going to look for it when I get back to Columbus.
You might go to openthebooks.com and ask them to show you all the money that comes to Columbus, Georgia, from the federal government.
There's no billion, but thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I have to call a timeout because we have to pay for all this by going to a commercial break. Senator Tom Coburn, Teresa Tomlinson, Mayor of Columbus, Georgia, thank you both for being here for the debate. Appreciate it. And coming up next, Donald Trump comments on Harvey Weinstein's sex scandal. Talk about living in glass houses. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.